Hey guys, it's Bethany Finch with American Made Home Solutions. And yes, we're excited. Baseball is back and out playing again, out in the stadiums. Fans aren't yet fully being able to appreciate it as such, but at least they can stop watching reruns on TV. They can actually go and watch them live and in person. So yes, lifelong Yankees fan here, and doesn't necessarily mean I know every single stat of every single player of anything like that. I'm a fan. I am not that much of a fan, so it is different. Kind of one of those things that we hold on to sometimes that may or may not be that great. So one of the things speaking of that, is our investments. Right now, with everything going on with COVID, it is a great time to take a look at our investments and where things are being placed in our portfolio, and if we should truly keep it there or if it's something that we need to disperse in a different way. So many times right now, with the CARES Act and different things, people have the opportunities to move things out of their 401ks and out of their stocks and bonds and move them into self-directed accounts, and into products such as real estate. But I want you to stop and think about, how do you want your investments to run? For instance, are you looking to be able to just put your investment money in there, check on it every once in a while, and then not have to think about it, and then when you magically retire or when you need it, the funds are there? If that's you, then you definitely might want to reconsider what you're currently doing. If you want to be more hands-on and you'd like to have more control, especially with everything that is going on with COVID, and maybe the current portfolio, the way it's laid out, you don't have very much. A lot of 401ks, pretty much an investment management firm is handling all of it, and they're making all the decisions, and realistically they're really not. A computer is doing it all for them, and they pretty much are just putting in your percentages and walking away, and that's it. So it's not as much in your control, so that could cause you more stress, especially with everything that is going on. So if that's you and you're also wanting to get more control over it, then that's definitely something you should be considering right at this moment. Maybe you're the type of investor who sees how funds and whatnot in your retirement accounts are being distributed, but they're going to companies that you don't necessarily agree with, you can't align yourself with, and it just grates you on the inside to know that that company is profiting off of you when you completely disagree with them. Because you like to invest more with a purpose, you have more philanthropic measures and whatnot that you'd like to see taken care of in your investments, in which case now is a great time to take advantage of that and to try to figure out, okay, am I really doing what meets with my goals? Am I really achieving my goals? Am I accomplishing what I want? Or am I just doing what's easy and with a couple tweaks could still be easy, but would align more with my particular goals? So first, you want to identify the problem. The problem is whether it's you want more control, whether you don't agree with where your investments are going and the support of those companies or businesses, or whether it's that you want less control, but you don't feel it's being handled in a way that it might give you returns, it may not give you returns. And so there's just too much flux and you want to put it in a more secure asset. So all three of those are situations that American Made Home Solutions is able to address. So let's identify. So the first one, if you've put your retirement accounts or your investments with, say, a brokerage firm. Brokerage firms are great, but what happens when that person that you've built that relationship with leaves and goes somewhere else, which they often do? The firm assures you your portfolio is being handled the exact same way it always was, and you won't have any challenges or problems. Well, for the most part, they're able to do that because it's all being done by computers. It's not necessarily being handled by a person. Those times that you get phenomenal customer service. Those brokerage firms, that is from the individual broker doing a great job, which is typically why they don't stay there. They usually get transferred on or promoted up. So those situations, when you're one of those investors that wants to be able to put your money in, have someone communicate what's going on in as little or as much as you want, and then be able to, at the end of the day, when you need that money, have it all still be there and then some, much, much more, because you've created great returns. If that's you, that's a great way to team up with American Made Home Solutions. Whether it's the situation where you're the one who wants more control because you see things kind of spinning out of control in the stock market and you're not liking where things are going, so you're wanting to pull those funds out of those mutual funds and things, stocks and bonds and such, and you're wanting to put them into real hard-backed real estate. In doing so, American Made Home Solutions works well in that scenario as well. Or maybe the problem or challenge in your situation isn't any of those. It's simply that they don't align, the investments don't align with your vision or your goals and aspirations for your philanthropic efforts. And that's where, once again, American Made Home Solution comes right alongside. Now, we invest with a purpose, meaning that all of our projects, whether they're single family or multifamily, a portion of them is given back to set 501c3s in local communities and such, or national ones, depending on the size of the projects and whatnot, to help continue to provide for those programs in a way that not only gives back, but creates sustainability. On our multifamily, where they can look at and count it as a line item on their budget and they know that money is just coming in, that's a huge relief factor for those organizations. And it enables them to focus on the job they need to do, which isn't raising money. It's reaching those kids or reaching those families or whatever their purpose is. So each one of those scenarios is about the same thing. The problem is always the same. You want to be able to identify and trust that the person that you're working with is going to do not only what they say they do, but that they have a reputation of integrity, and that their communication is open and consistent. Then, do they have a plan to solve your dilemma or your problem? Everybody's situation is slightly different, but oftentimes can be addressed in a lot of the same methods and things. So whether it be for more control, whether it be for less control, or whether it be for investing with a purpose, you come about it in the same fashion. Open and honest communication, so that it's as much or as little as the investor is wanting, as well as systems and tools in place to keep things on track, projects and whatnot on track, as well as those investor relations and those communications, so they can count on it's going to be here this day, this time. They can count on that. Your word is your bond. If you say it, it's going to happen. Obviously, life can get in the way, but for the most part, we're able to systemize a lot of that stuff to kind of rule out things that life happens, right? Obviously, there's only so much we can do with a computer if everything is glitching in the system and the internet crashes, right? But how many times has that happened? Usually it's a system per se that's crashing as opposed to an entire internet. And then we just have to continue to be able to handle it. So along with identifying each of the unique problems and or challenges that can arise, one of the things that American Made Home Solutions has is over 25 years experience. And in that time, things come up. Murphy's Law happens, right? So we've gone through so many different challenges and problems that has enabled us to have some of the wisdom that a lot of other inexperienced operators and syndicators do not have, as well as asset management teams. When you have that experience, or you have the network and the pool of resources available to you, it enables you to not just see things from a different light, but be able to get different feedback and respond accordingly. And so in so doing, it kind of prepares and mitigates as much risk as possible, as well as we're able to see things. When we're systemizing things and we're putting those key performance indicators in, we're able to see the trends up or down, and identify a problem way up here when it starts to go down instead of waiting for it to come all the way to the bottom. If we wait for it to come all the way to the bottom and then decide to pivot, it could already be too late. You need to be able to have the experience to recognize at what point do we need to pivot and change and turn rather than, and that's where every good investor out there will tell you experience plays a huge factor in that. As far as a reputation of integrity, understanding and knowing that you are a person of your word, when the community can count on you to provide those funds or provide that housing or different situations. For instance, on many of our projects, we work with local community agencies to provide affordable housing through different programs and such that aren't necessarily available in other means. So when they can count on us and they can make a phone call, okay, Bethany, I have 10 families to place. What do you have available? And they can know this is what I have available or this is when it's coming available, and they can count on that. That integrity and that communication and honest communication. Sometimes I don't have anything available, and letting them know I'm not leading them along because families' lives are at stake. So we want to be able to continue to create that sustainable growth, not just in our community, but in all the communities that we're in, because people can count on each other. In doing so, it provides a stronger and safer community for all, which is our goal here at American Made Home Solutions. We want to create that sustainable growth, not just for our investors, but also for the communities that we're in and impacting. We want to create places that people are happy and enjoy living there, but also feel that it's a good return so that they want to stay rather than just constantly getting new tenants and new tenants. They want to stay and they're willing to pay rental increases based on inflation and such, or they're willing to not leave and go someplace else, or even upgrade when properties are upgraded from classic units and such, because they see the value in what we've done in those units. So we're thankful for those families and the trust that those families have placed with us, but also for the team members, whether it's our property managers, whether it's our different asset management teams, whether it's the different sponsorships that we work with on the syndication side, or whether it's the contractors that can count on knowing they're going to have a paycheck. When we write that contract up, they can count on it's not going to be 60, 80, 180 days we've seen on some properties before they're still waiting to get paid. And that's just not necessarily fair or right to a contractor. So we want to be able to provide that integrity and that commitment to trust, that relationship stays open and honest, but also that you can count on it, that integrity is still there. And then we want to continue to handle it over and over and over, so that each time a new challenge arises, we're able to not just mitigate it, but to possibly prevent it by building out a system if we missed it in our previous systems, building out a new system, or by just continuing to stay on course, knowing, again, based on experience, if we stay the course here, it's going to continue to go down this path and it will continue to grow, or nope, it's going to go down this path, time to pivot, move along, and then redirect. So having that sustainability and ability to continue to handle by placing systems in place allows us, so everybody's like, how do you get so much done in one day? You have to systemize it. We all have the same 24 hours in one day. And when you multiply that by our number of team members, yes, you have more, but then again, you're still limited to that 24 hours in one day. So the more you're able to systemize and speed things up, you're more efficient. All the professional athletes will tell you this, that you're much more efficient at the time that you are using to get things done, as well as with technology and the advances, incorporating that in there is a huge, not just lifesaver, time saver, and cost. It's much more cost effective. So incorporating as much technology and whatnot in there as we can as well is a great way to do that. So it allows us to continue to not just be sustained where we're at, but to continue to grow. So if you're the investor that's out there and looking for a company that is able to do all of the above, whether it's investing with a purpose and wanting to be able to align your thoughts and beliefs and core values with our investment company, or whether it's hands off, you want to be able to trust that they're doing their job, you want to get communication consistently that you can count on, and that you'll be able to, in essence, take to the bank and know they're going to pivot because they've got the experience, and you want to be as hands off and or as hands in, depending on your scenario. Or if you're that investor who would like a little bit more control and like to see where and how it's going and this and that. I know many times when it comes to real estate, people oftentimes want to be invested in an area where maybe there's family or there's an attachment, maybe their college was there, and others don't care at all. So everybody is unique in that scenario. But regardless of which one of those types of investors you are, American Made Home Solutions has a place for you with us, and we look forward to talking with you soon. Give us a call, 360-386-1334. There'll be a link below you can click on to set up an appointment for a free consultation so that we can determine if we're a good fit for you. We may not be a good fit for you, and that's why it's a free consultation. So you haven't wasted any time and energy, and we haven't wasted any time and energy, and we can determine right away if we're a good fit and if it's something that would be in your best interest. Until next time, we will talk to you later, and we will look forward to celebrating another win with you as you continue to grow not only your investments and your portfolio, but your life as an individual and your family as well. Have a great day. Bye for now.